to The World is Fucked, starring your host, me, and him.
Yeah, I'll take this part. I'm Jade Rivers. This is R.C. Adams.
So,
I wasn't done.
this is a show about the comedic views of what we find to be incredibly stupid in this world, such as certain books.
That was just a book we picked off the shelf. Didn't have anything to do with its contents.
They say this is a bestseller. I think it's a work of fiction.
Yeah. So, one of the many things we're going to be talking about on The World is Fucked is the many contradictories and, I mean, I hate to sound just generic, but stupid things that we find about this book and its stories. I did find an interesting story to start with. I'm going to take this. How does this fucking thing work? Is it listed alphabetically or what? I don't
know.
I forgot. It was... Oh, here it is. The Book of Job. Alright. So, we're going to write...
Wait. They pronounce it Job, even though it clearly says Job.
Well, I'm going to call him Job, because Job is just stupid. I wouldn't name my dog Job. Okay, so we're going to start and get to know... Thank you. We're going to get to know about this man Job, I think, in the first, like, 6 verses or stanzas or watermelons or whatever they call these paragraphs. Alright. There was a man in the land of Uz. Uz. Whose name was Job. Yeah. Job. And that man was perfect and upright and one that feared God and eschewed evil. What does eschewed mean?
I don't know.
I'm guessing that means he didn't like evil. So far what we know about Job is that he was a perfect man. He feared God, which is a word that Christians use to substitute for the word love. I don't know where the hell they started using it.
I think he feared God. He was afraid of him. Because the Old Testament God was one of wrath and vengeance. I can prove that too, which we will.
Yeah. Alright, we'll keep going. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. So he had 10 kids. Him and his wife were a little busy.
That's a lot of fucking.
Yeah. We'll call his wife unemployment. Job and unemployment had 10 kids. His substance was also 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen.
Substance like drugs?
I'm guessing substance is another word.
Drugs?
I don't know why Christians couldn't have said loved instead of feared or animals instead of substance.
Well, you do know this book's been revised about 100 times.
I don't know what fucking version we're reading right now, but so he had a bunch of animals. So that this man was the greatest man of all the men to the east. So all the men in the east, this man was the best.
But where the fuck is Uz? Is it over the rainbow somewhere? I think it's over the rainbow.
I think all the Christians live over the rainbow. We'll skip ahead to this part. There was a day that the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. So, let me get this straight. They had a meeting with the gods and invited Satan?
Apparently, he just showed up. How the fuck do we get into heaven? What verse are we on?
We're on verse 6.
6. So we're on 6. So somehow between the last verse we read, which I think was 3, to 6, we managed to make it to heaven. Read the verse, like the last part before that, and see if we can't find out how the fuck we got to heaven.
So let's start here. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified his kids, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed gods in their hearts." Thus did Job. So apparently something happened to his kids. Job was afraid that his sons had pissed off God. So he's trying to make offerings to make up for it.
And then we magically turn to heaven.
So I'm just going to tell everyone that's on death row for killing a person, if you sacrifice an ox, you're good.
According to Job.
That's right. And
all other things in the Old Testament of the Holy Bible.
And God said to Satan, "Whence comest? Where the fuck did you come from?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and from the earth and from walking up and down it."
So Satan is everywhere, motherfucker. He's like that, man. He's like fucking David Copperfield. I don't even think David Copperfield can move that fast. He's like fucking Goku from Dragon Ball Z.
So the first thing we've learned on The World is Fuck, David Copperfield was Satan. And the Lord said unto Satan, and Goku, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the... Did he just offer Job to Satan?
I think he did.
I'm pretty sure Job just sacrificed oxen in his name, and he just said, hey, have you considered my Job?
So, Satan basically challenges God and says, haha, people like me, or whatever the fuck he's doing. I can't really decipher the shit.
We've never met Satan.
By the way. And God says, well, have you considered this nice man? Take a look at him.
We're going to skip ahead to verse 11. Satan challenges God. Put forth thine hand now and touch all that he has, and he will curse thee to thy face. So he's pretty much saying, go and piss Job off, and Job will say, fuck you, God. That's what he's saying. So God has been challenged. And apparently, even though God doesn't listen to Satan and push away Satan, he'll take a bet from him.
Yeah, and in the New Testament, by the way, Jesus, the Son of God, says, let it be written that thou shalt not tempt the Lord. Well, it just fucking happened.
Yeah.
Contradictory statement right there.
And God took the bet. So we're skipping ahead here to verse 18 and 19. While his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, a great wind came from the wilderness, smited the four corners of the house, fell upon the young men, and they are dead.
So a giant wind from the forest destroyed his house. Sounds to me like a freak tornado, but still, yeah. It came from the fucking forest.
Did you read how unforgiving this is? The house fell upon the young men, and they are dead. I mean, that's just like, if you guys ever played the Nintendo version of Friday the 13th, it says all your friends are dead. The end.
You and your friends are dead.
So, clue number 2 from the Bible. God invented Friday the 13th, the video game.
You and your friends are dead.
Job arose. He shaved his head and fell on the ground and worshipped. So, God takes away his sons. So, he gives God his hair.
Well, in Old Testament times, the way that you showed that you were in mourning, you know, sad, is that you did exactly this. You shaved your head and you wore rags. Which, their version of rags was God.
I feel sorry for the guy who played Professor X. Everybody in his family must have died. Anyway, well, we move on here. Job then said, naked I came out of my mother's womb, gross, and naked I shall return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. So, RC, you have a son. Yep. Your son, unfortunately, somebody forbid, nothing should happen to your son, but something does happen to him. But the first thing that happens after your son dies is you're going to thank God for taking away your son. No, that's not. No. Oh, man, that pisses me off. So, to summarize everything else that I've read here, Job not only loses his sons, he loses his wife, he's stricken with boils, all of his thousands of animals are taken away.
His drugs, too.
And his substances. And he grows up cold and lonely.
And it's not mentioned what happens to him after it. He doesn't die from the diseases. If I remember the story right, and you can go ahead and go to the back of this to refer to it, and go to the end of the story here, what happens is that Job, and use the name correctly for those of you critics out there who be like, you're stupid for using his name incorrectly. Fuck you! Anyway, so,
very well put.
Yeah. So, Job loses all of his shit. A bunch of diseases overrides him. And then next thing you know, he's still praising God. And if I remember the end of the story correctly, it goes back into heaven. By the way, who the fuck was in heaven to write the shit down and send it to earth?
I thought about this. Doesn't it say somewhere, if not many places in the Bible, that you have to be dead with a lifetime of nothing but worshiping God? No food, no drinks, no video games, no Call of Duty. You do nothing but worship God, and then you get into heaven. Isn't that the only way the Bible says you get into heaven? So, not only did they invite Satan into heaven, they invited some random guy that knew Job and unemployment.
No, wait. Job was never mentioned from the guy who's writing. No, the guy who's writing this shit doesn't say a damn thing. Which, you'd think that they would notice a guy sitting there taking notes. Oh, I've got to write this down. This is good shit. Satan's in heaven, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That would have made the New York fucking Times.
I know, right? There's a guy riding in heaven, or for argument's sake, an angel. So an angel comes down to tell a mortal to write down these events. Now, this is recorded. The angel probably just told whoever the fuck wrote this, which is never mentioned anywhere, who the fuck wrote this shit, or how many times it's been edited.
You know what's kind of funny?
What?
Picture an angel in a long brown trench coat and a black hat with just a tape recorder going. Just standing in the corner. Just going. Just taking comment from God and Satan.
That's how the fuck it happened. A reporter angel did that shit.
An angel, he is from the Angel Times. Alright, we're running short on time. The moral of the story, alright, Job was a good man for continuing to worship his Lord even after losing everything. It takes a hell of a man to do that.
Yeah.
So if that shit really happened, then, you know, I'm sorry to you, Job, for having to go through all that. But basically, God was saying, do you love me, Job? Yes. Well, you're going to prove it. So I'm going to take your house. I still love you. I'm going to take your kids. I still love you.
He took the kids in the house at the same time.
Yeah,
he put the house on the kids.
That was a double fucking whammy is what that was.
Yeah.
You be Job. Do you love me, Job?
Yes.
I take your house. Do you still love me?
Yes.
The house fell on your kids. Do you still love me?
Yes.
I just want to prove that you still love me. You now have boils. Do you still love me?
Yes. Praise be to God.
There goes all of your goddamn livestock and your substances. Do you still love me?
You took my drugs, but I still love you.
I just took your wife on employment. Do you still love me?
Yes, I still love you.
Have a good
Only
day.
you can give me sex.
And then God said, have a good fucking life, took all of his shit, and left.
Yeah.
There's the moral of your story.
In the wonderful land of Oz.
Fuck with God, you die. Love God, you lose all your shit and live a cold, depressing, horrible death.
But you get into heaven, which...
And you get 72 virgins.
Wrong religion.
We're running short on time here. So, that was the first episode of The World is Fucked. I'm Jade Rivers.
I'm R.C. Adams.
We hope you enjoyed our input.
And as for the stupid shit in the world, fuck you.
Fuck.
We're out.